KCTV5 has been reporting on Kansas City construction builder Max Howell. People accuse him of fraud and turning dream homes into nightmares. Families are begging police, judges, even the FBI to hold Howell accountable. Tonight, there's a new group calling for accountability. Workers and business owners who say they were never paid, and they have an idea: force him to sell a building. Here's investigative reporter Angie Racono.
2645 Madison Avenue. It's the old KCP&L substation. It's seen its share of history.
We finished in February.
Tito's been here.
And he haven't paid me a penny.
He can tell you a story or two.
He's been just saying, I will pay you even interest if you want to charge me interest. I swear to God. And I haven't seen nothing.
Tito says Max Howell owes him $74,000.
When payments come, he just disappeared. It's really hard to reach him.
Almost a year has rolled by.
Just pay your debts. That's the only thing I could say. There's a lot of people craving and needing that money because they already work for it. No one works for free.
Tito struggled to pay his crew. His dad picked up weekend work to cover gaps to keep his small business afloat. He filed a lawsuit calling the situation unfair and unjust, especially when you realize this building houses what appears to be a rogue Airbnb. Here's the link and pics encouraging tourists to enjoy a stylish experience at this centrally located and newly renovated 3-bedroom loft in the heart of Kansas City. At least one reviewer even thanks Max by name. This was reported to both the city and to KCTV5 back in November. That's because there's no occupancy permit for this building, meaning it's not cleared to inhabit. Here's the city inspection report denying it. Nowhere near ready for a building final. We watched as out-of-town guests continued to book this Airbnb. We questioned the city. Here's their spokesperson's response. The site has been visited by inspectors and investigators, but no proof of occupancy has been discovered upon visits to the site. Only construction workers and construction activity was observed. KCTV5 confirmed it was an active place to stay in less than 5 minutes. We had a producer attempt to book it.
Is this available November 18th through the 21st?
2 minutes later, hello, just the 18th, 19th, 20th. I have someone coming in on the 20th. We waited and watched. More reviews popped up. We drive by late at night and verify guests. We questioned the city if this Airbnb was even registered with the city. No one has applied. No.
Tried to reach him.
Don't forget Tito in all of this. He worked here and says he was never paid.
He's living his life like nothing is happening, while all of the contractors are struggling with money.
Courageous, satisfying, persevering. Need all of those.
Tito has watched Max post slick videos this past year and brag about his business.
It's definitely finding the right people.
This guy has to be stopped.
My name is Angie Racono. Tito watched as KCTV5 began reporting on Max Howell's problems and lawsuits with other projects.
He literally saw our desperation and how badly we wanted to go home, and he just started drooling.
Yeah, it's really sad. I don't know why this country allowed that kind of stuff.
Tito quietly filed his lawsuit in Kansas and wasn't surprised when a second lawsuit dropped in Missouri. This time it's the owners of a lumber yard asking a judge to, quote, order a sale of that old power and light building and compensate all the companies and workers who helped fix up this old building. It points out numerous businesses have filed liens with the courts because they weren't paid either. In the meantime, this Airbnb continues to rent for up to $260 plus fees per night. Max had no comment to us on these lawsuits. Previously, he's bragged to us about his city connections. Turns out that's true. He's getting a huge tax break on this multi-million-dollar building. He doesn't have to pay taxes for 10 years. It's called an abatement, and they gave that deal to Max Howell. Angie Racono, KCTV5 News.
And KCTV5's investigation continues. We're requesting city emails. There are 4,000 of them about Max Howell and his companies. The city has to give them to us. It's public record. However, It's going to take them almost 2 months to review them. A Kansas City contractor who has been the focus of several KCTV5 investigations now has a warrant for his arrest. Investigative reporter Angie Racono is in the newsroom with details.
The warrant is for Maximilian Howe. He faces numerous lawsuits from families and contractors. It's connected to a house he built for the Evans family. We reported on it in October. The Evans say Howe tried to switch the price on their home. They filed a lawsuit accusing Howe of fraud, false promises, and misrepresentations. The case is pending. But in the meantime, the judge ordered Howe to pay damages. That's because he reportedly damaged this property as he built other nearby houses. The judge ordered Howe to pay more than $8,000 in October. Howe never paid, so the judge issued a warrant. It says defendant Max Howe has willfully, contemptuously, and maliciously failed and refused to abide by the order of contempt without just cause. This means any peace officer in the state of Missouri can arrest Howe. Further investigations here by KCTV5 reveal other families with similar complaints regarding Howe's business practices and quality of work. Most recently, a subcontractor told us he helped renovate an Airbnb but was never paid the $70,000 he was owed. It now rents out for hundreds of dollars a night. That lawsuit is pending too. Max Howe has bragged to us about his city connections, so we've requested emails from the city. Those are public record, and those should arrive next week. We'll keep you posted. Angie Racono, KCTV5 News.
A Kansas City contractor now faces dozens of federal charges. Prosecutors call his business practices a scheme. Well, this follows a series of KCTV5 investigative reports as families and subcontractors accused Maximilian Howell of taking their money but not finishing the projects, suspecting that that money went elsewhere. Here's investigative reporter Angie Racono.
There are 56 federal charges. It's connected to city grants, meaning it's your tax dollars. It's for bank fraud, money laundering, and making false statements to a financial institution. The charges point out Max Howe's connections to the city, something he's always bragged about. These projects were often funded through Home Grant and Community Development Block Grant. These grants were awarded to the city of Kansas City, Missouri by HUD. Other projects were funded from reimbursement-based lines of credit established at Lead Bank and the general fund of the city of Kansas City, Missouri. Prosecutors say Howe misused funds from HUD and other grants, taking bank draws for things like windows, lumber, masonry, and roofing, but the work never took place. It accuses Howe of intentionally mixing and shifting money between business and personal accounts and stiffing subcontractors he promised to pay. Our investigation revealed Max Howe has created a total of 10 businesses in Missouri and Kansas. 3 are mentioned in federal charges: Entrepreneurs Enterprises, Madison Housing Partners, and EE Devco.
I understand at a high level.
Here's Maximilian Howe. We found this video on Facebook. It's before any federal charges were filed and civil lawsuits and liens began piling up in both states.
Courageous, satisfying, and persevering. Need all of those.
One construction project specifically outlined in the new federal charges is 2645 Madison Avenue. He's getting a huge tax break. It was the focus of a KCTV5 investigation.
He's living his life like nothing is happening, while all of the contractors are struggling.
Numerous contractors and subs say they were never paid.
He's been just saying, I will pay you even interest if you want to charge me interest. I swear to God. And I haven't seen nothing. When payments come, like, he just disappeared. It's really hard to reach him.
It operates as an Airbnb. At the time of our report, it wasn't registered with the city and didn't even have an occupancy permit. Yet it booked night after night while Tito and other contractors questioned how something like this could happen. Tito?
Yeah.
We checked back in with Tito in light of federal charges. He still owed $74,000.
If I get that money, that will be like a relief for me.
He's filed a civil lawsuit, and so have dozens of other businesses.
There were mistakes.
And families.
The wrong windows were put in there.
Like the Evans. They sued Max Howe, claiming he wanted an additional $184,000 to finish building their home.
I broke down crying.
Many of the allegations in their civil lawsuit mirror the new federal indictment, questioning where money went and accusing Hal of not paying subcontractors. They point to liens filed against their homes and workers who stopped by.
But they just closed last week. The guy was in $50,000. Said he was waiting on this closing.
News of federal charges is long overdue for families who questioned a lack of accountability. They went to police and filed complaints with the Attorney General's offices in both Kansas and Missouri.
He literally saw our desperation and how badly we wanted to go home, and he just started drooling. It's how I feel. Like it's sick.
Okay, show me. Mike Thoden had a house fire. He blames Max for what we saw inside.
Explain this.
I wish I could.
Where is that pipe supposed to go?
That's just an open sewer line. That pipe should be connected to something, yet we have a ceiling already. So we're going to have to tear that whole ceiling back out. You have provided billing that is false.
Our tour ended with this phone call where Max cussed out the homeowner, dropping the F word 26 times.
We reached out to Max Howell for comment on the charges. We called, emailed, and sent a text message. We have not had a response. A warrant has been issued. He is not currently in federal custody. If he's convicted of the charges, he faces up to 30 years in prison. Federal prosecutors also want the money and properties back. Angie Racono, KCTV5 News.
Angie, thank you. And we also reached out to the city for response, and we have not heard back just yet.